Hi, I'm Sashana DaCosta. I'm doing an oral interview with Charlene Hendricks, my special guest. And we're going to take it over to you, Charlene. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Charlene Hendricks. What should I say about myself?
Let me know where you are living right now, what you're currently doing as life, if that's your job or anything else, and then we'll go from there.
I currently live in Conyers, Georgia, and I work full time as an event coordinator at Emory University. I also am the CEO and founder of a nonprofit, and I also am a full time PhD candidate.
Okay, I hope you know that today we're going to be talking a little bit about COVID. So we're jumping back into the past. So, where were you living at the time of COVID, and what were you doing before the pandemic began?
At the time of COVID, I was in college. I was a senior in college, and I was living in the dorms. Before the pandemic, I was, an eager high, not high school. I was an eager college student, just working and living life. I had just got like my dream internship, and I was like doing all of the things, and life was great. Life was really, 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 really great before COVID happened.
Okay, so I see that it was a uphill and then it kind of abruptly possibly stopped for you. So in the beginning, we didn't know what COVID was, what was going on, and then it became the global pandemic that we know it for. So when did you first hear about COVID-19, and what were your thoughts, reactions, and all everything?
Okay, so I can't put the timeline on it, but I know it was like December, January, and it was the Cardi B. She's like coronavirus. And that's where it started. It was like respectfully, it was this disease that came from Asia, and it was associated with that group of people, and that's what it was. Like very ignorantly, it was the Asians got this disease and everybody's going to come over here and get it. There was not much to it. However, I remember the shift because it was, I think the shutdown was like around February. I had a large event like the week before that. Like I had a really large event the week before that. And then like I was going to the hospital. I mean not the hospital. I went to Cleveland, and I remember like when I got on that flight, it was my brother's wedding. And like when we got on the flight to go, it was fine. On the way back, like hazmat, like airport, don't sit, like that's when like everything was like, it was crazy. Like it really felt like in the movies, like how the world is ending. Like it was literally like night and day from me going to the airport on Thursday, from me coming home on Sunday. And I remember when I got back, like on my campus, they were like, if anybody has traveled, been to the airport or anything, you have to leave campus right now. And I was crashing out, and I was like, y'all, I can't go. I don't want to go home. Like I don't want to go home. It's senior year. Like we had no idea like what was going on. And so it went from like funny memes to like the world is ending like within a month.
So you said that when you reached the campus, they said to go home. Where was your campus at the time, and how far away was that from you to home?
It was in Gainesville, Georgia. So it was about, depending on the traffic, it was about maybe like an hour to an hour and a half from where my home was.
Not too bad for Georgia, but still not convenient if you don't have a car. Did you have a car at this time?
I did have a car. And I don't, you might touch on this a little later, but I'm going to just go ahead and get into the crisis, the fiasco of what it was to move out, because it became very abrupt. So when they said you had to go home, I was able to, like, I had a close relationship with the nurse, and she was like, it's okay, you're fine. And they let me stay. And this was like maybe, so I came back Sunday. So this is like Monday. So by Thursday, it was, oh no, everybody's going home. It's time to move out. And I don't know where my mom was at the time, because she couldn't have, I just like, she couldn't have been out of town, but she might have been out of town because it was still like that gray area. But my mom, I remember my mom wasn't home, and I needed to move, and I did not have any help. Like I was just like, all of this stuff is not going to fit in my car. Like we have to get out of here. Like we got to move. We have to go. Like they were like, clear out, like pack up, like everything. Like it was immediate. It was like, it's Thursday. Y'all got to be out by like Saturday. Like there was no time. And I remember like there were all of these things online, like people were supporting people like that were traveling home, like, and I remember like just being black, like there was a lot of like black, I follow all the black people, they had all of this support for like HBCU students to get home, but they didn't have any support. I'm like, I don't have help, I need somebody to come out here and help me. So luckily some of my friends were able to come and help me move stuff, but I also like had a friend that lived in the area and I had to leave a lot of stuff at her house because it was like y'all got to be out immediate. Like it was immediate. And my car, I mean my car was doing it, but like my car, I had lived in my dorm room for 3 years. Like we were in an apartment. I had lived in there for 3 years. I'm like, I can't get up and move all my stuff out of here in 2 days with no help.
I think the last question I'm going to ask, especially about moving, was there a schedule for you guys to like not be around each other while you moved? And also, what did I want to ask you? Was there a schedule for you guys? And also, oh, did you have to continue payments on this place that you have to move out of, or because it was so new, we don't know?
Um, so at the time, because it was like it was an apartment but it was prorated, it was considered a dorm but it was an apartment, so we had already paid our tuition. A few months later we did get refunded, we got prorated refund for all of the money that like for since we weren't on campus anymore, we got we did get a large chunk of that money back. And at that time, it was like, no, just kind of like stay away from everybody. Like, this is the time where like people didn't really have masks. Like, masks were hard to come by. Like, everybody was buying up all of the Lysol. And like, it was like really crazy. But like, wear gloves. But like, no, because my my roommate started a fire that night before we were about to move out. And so like we were all still fine at that point. It was just like don't travel, don't go outside at that point.
Okay, so we're gonna go deeper into what life started to become like. How did your daily routine, I guess now you're at home, possibly. Where are you now, and how did your daily routine change with COVID now a thing?
Okay, so when COVID happened, when it was like, oh, we're gonna shut down, the world's gonna shut down, like I went into panic mode because I was coming home and I was just like, what am I gonna do every day stuck in the house? Like I went to Michael's and I got like stuff to paint. I bought a bunch of makeup. Like I was like stockpiling like activities to do. But at the same time, I told you I just got my dream internship. It was event planning. And so like my whole career shifted. We also still had classes. I had a few online classes and like the professors in the beginning, it was like nobody knew. There was not a lot of leniency in the beginning because it was like nobody really knew. Like it was like, oh, this is only gonna be 2 weeks. Like this isn't gonna be anything. And like during the shutdown, I just remember like the way my life shifted was I just was like, and I mean I was always panicking, like trying to get outside, trying to go somewhere. Like I did not sit in the house as much as I should have. I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't. I wore my mask and I wore my gloves, but I was outside. I even because I couldn't work my job anymore, I started door dashing. So I was a door dasher. I was like, I'm essential. I was like, people need food. People need food. I'm gonna bring it to them. And so it did shift a lot. Today I'm still in Conyers. Yes, I'm still at home. And I mean it's good now, but in the time it was like life is over. We were seniors in college. I didn't get a graduation. Like I missed out on a lot of those experiences. So like I spent a lot of my time just like the days were long and I was painting and I was finding out new hobbies and I was making TikToks. That's when TikTok got big. Making TikToks and just doing whatever I could.
Okay, actually, that brings us into our next question. It sounds like you were doing a lot of different things, or maybe things you didn't get to touch on before because you were working a life. What were some things that changed you or changed about you during COVID that you noticed personally?
I think that COVID definitely, I think it made not just me, but I feel like it made everybody more cautious and more aware of like, oh, this is like nasty. Like, especially like kids and like elementary school, it's like, oh my gosh, if one person touches the thing. And so I think that I became more cautious and more aware of like the spaces around me and then just like personal space and like all of those things. Like, I think that those are not things that we necessarily thought about before. that like we really had to take into consideration, like, wow, like maybe they should clean this off after every single time somebody uses it. Like maybe you shouldn't do those things. Like maybe water fountains are a crazy concept. So I definitely think I became more aware. I think for me, I think it made me grateful for a lot of things. Being able to be outside and be able to, I mean, I like to move around. So I think that being able to not do that, it was hard. And I think that I appreciate the time that I spend out more. I don't like to stay in the house as much because I don't ever want to feel confined like I did during COVID.
Okay, I don't think I told everyone this, but I've known Charlene since high school, and she has always been a social butterfly. So, my next question to you is you're in, I guess, what you would call a solitude, possibly because you said you didn't, I mean, you actually did go out, so maybe not. How did that affect your relationships with people or lack thereof?
I think that I think it's twofold. I think that it was I think it made a lot of relationships closer because I had a lot of time. Like you said, I'm a social butterfly, but I'm always moving, I'm always running, I'm always going. But being able to be at home and not doing that, I had more time to have conversation. I mean, everybody had time to have conversations because we were all at home and we were getting ready to graduate. That's the first time that all of us weren't busy because we were all at home. We were able to talk on the phone. You didn't have all of those distractions, so I felt like I had the opportunity to talk to more people. But I think also like distance definitely made some things difficult, especially like with my college friends that I was doing life with, the people I was living with. We didn't get to see each other as much. And especially like not getting to share that graduation moment together. But I